Cheng is from the Department of Anthropology of Chinese U, and her work specializes on sexuality studies.
Thank you very much. Thanks for inviting me, and I'm very honored to be in the company of all these distinguished scholars today. And I particularly want to thank Lisa for bringing up this subject and this very interesting paradox of moralizing greed in neoliberalism. And as some of you know, I like thinking about neoliberalism as a set of paradoxes. And what Lisa said actually has a lot of contemporary echoes for us when we are witnessing these attacks on gay rights in Hong Kong in the name of equality, in the name of security, in the name of protecting our future. But the underlying message is really they can exist but not as equals. So my work is on sex work, anti-trafficking policies, and how it is globalized, particularly in the context of South Korea. And so it is in that context that I would like to respond to Lisa's theme of greed. And it is selflessness that I would like to talk about. And how selflessness is being remoralized or neoliberalized in the neoliberal context. In the language of humanitarianism, in the language of human rights movement, in the name of anti-trafficking policies. Right? How can you be critical of anti-trafficking policies when it is about combating coercion, combating inequality, combating violence against human rights? My own research is on the women who have engaged in sex work and have become, unknowingly, targets of anti-trafficking policies and activism that claim to save them from sexual enslavement, that claim to save them from human rights violation. From quite a number of years of ethnographic work in South Korea and then in the US, I have met many women who do not identify as victims of trafficking, who do not think that the activists are helping them, who do not want to be subjected to the gaze or the protection of the state. And yet, they are continuously recruited by these anti-trafficking NGOs and government agencies and law enforcement in the name of protecting their rights. So I see a huge contradiction there. So I started with looking at the 2004 anti-prostitution legislation in South Korea that claimed to combat trafficking of women into forced prostitution. And what my research helped me see with neoliberalism is that it's a set of at least 3 paradoxes. Number 1 is about morality or amorality. Neoliberalism tries to appear as amoral, that it is not about morality, we are not, in that old school. But in fact, of course, it cannot exist in a moral vacuum. What it does is really about reconfiguring morality, what Lisa just showed us, right? That greed is moral, and helping others is evil. That is the kind of, one part of that morality that neoliberalism helps perpetuate. Another part of it that, especially in the realm of sexuality, is that it relies on the maintenance of this heteronormative family unit. And therefore, it is driven to maintain the rigid moral boundaries between the intimate and the market domains, as Salazar so succinctly said. And this is where it comes in on sex work or sex trafficking. Because you can be liberal, you can be having sex maybe outside of the marital context, you can be having premarital sex maybe, but not buying sex and not selling sex, because that is that ultimate limit of neoliberal morality. So in anti-trafficking discourses and policies, that's what we are seeing. A second paradox that I talk about in my work is how individual risks are being depoliticized while national security is being hyper-politicized. And so one manifestation of it in anti-trafficking policies is that in Korea, prostitution is not Korean. Sex work is a Western concept, it is not ours, and it is Western feminists who are imposing this on us. We do not have women who engage in sex work voluntarily. Sorry, prostitution voluntarily. So that is one way of buttressing that national boundary, even though it is symbolic and not, geographical. As a third paradox is how humanitarian action is really part of this neoliberal transformations by translating social reality into the language of compassion, how we are helping others. And this is not my word, this is Didier Fassin's work on humanitarian reason. And what he said is really worth quoting. He said, inequality is replaced by exclusion. Domination is transformed into misfortune. And injustice is articulated as suffering. Violence is expressed in terms of trauma. I'm sorry, am I going too fast? I'm so sorry. So what we see in South Korea is a very interesting neoliberalization. That on one hand, neoliberal developments, like Yao Jing said at the beginning, it creates unprecedented social inequalities, polarization of wealth, and an increase in vulnerable populations. At the same time, it supports a set of humanitarian responses from the state and the NGO sector. Take the example of South Korea. As part of the 1997 and 2008 in particular economic crisis, unemployment is highly gendered, so that 98% of job cuts were held by women, most of them in their 30s. Unemployment disproportionately affects the young. The 20 to 29 age group made up 40% of the total unemployed population in 2006. So, some of these younger women have chosen to work overseas. Some of them have chosen to engage in sex work, often unsafely. But the 2004 anti-prostitution laws helped to support three significant features of the neoliberal state. Number one, the criminal control apparatus that emphasizes on an expansion of police powers, cracking down on sex work venues. Number two, the welfare as surveillance apparatus. We provide welfare to restore these women into proper gender and class positions as cleaners, as sewers, as cooks. Number three, and the state incorporation of NGOs. The first one produces an ever-increasing population of criminals, including sex workers, clients, and mediators of transsexual sex. The second entangles women in an increasingly value-laden welfare program to promote traditional nuclear family, gender order, and class structure. And the final feature witnesses the fraught partnership between Korean women's organizations, the criminal law, and the Korean state. The Korean women's organizations used to be an anti-state movement, especially before the 1990s, at the height of the democratization movement. But since the 1990s, the women's movement has started to work in partnership with the state. And at one point, it was the rosy years when President Kim Dae-jung, the Nobel Peace Prize winner, was in office. promoting human rights, setting up the National Human Rights Commission, setting up the Ministry of Gender Equality. And so a lot of women's organizations started to collaborate with the state. And yet, what they promote is sex work is inherently a form of violence against women. Women cannot possibly choose to engage in sex work. They do bring in a structural analysis. They will talk about poverty. They will talk about socio-economic vulnerabilities. But do they propose measures that address these structures? No. What they focus on is a criminal justice approach that expands the power of the state, that seeks to rehabilitate women into their proper, gender-proper positions. So the entire language of rights, of self-determination, have been contained in middle-class ideals of heterosexual normative family, rather than recognizing the fundamental citizenship rights of these women. Victimization is the dominant language in this anti-trafficking movement. Victimization circumscribes women's sexual determination right as a negative right from violence. Marginalized women who engage in non-normative forms of sexuality, whether sex workers or other forms of non-normative sexuality, and prevented any effective approach to the multiple systems of domination that have shaped women's experiences. So, like other humanitarian solutions that we see today, anti-trafficking measures symbiotically nourish the problems that they are putatively addressing. And that is one of the paradoxes of neoliberalism that I would like to raise today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Cheng. In the interest of time, we can move directly to Po-keung. No more than 10 minutes, please.
Thanks, Stephen and Lisa, for your wonderful, inspiring presentation. But I feel more comfortable in presenting in Cantonese, especially in this context. I have written a short comment and I printed out for the translator and also for Lisa. So may I now switch the channel back to Cantonese. 我睇完Lisa 嗰個論文咧，我覺得非常重要嘅一個議題。我哋今日傾咧就關於新自由主義同埋新道德主義之間嘅聯繫。咁因為我哋時間關係啦，我前邊嗰個 comment 咧，我就有個簡要嘅一個傳寫啦，關於我點讀Lisa 呢個論文嘅。咁我呢度唔重複啦，即係大概頭先Lisa 嘅 presentation 都好清楚。主要最後咧就佢提出根據一個學者啦，就 Po-keung 嘅一個論説，就提出究竟我哋今日仲係咪一個新自由主義嘅年代，同埋如果係咁嘅時候，我哋應該有啲咩方式處理？咁我覺得呢啲問題係非常重要、至關重要。喺今日呢個香港嘅獨特嘅社會脈絡裏邊啦，我哋傾呢兩種議題，新自由主義同埋新道德主義啦。咁有好多相近嘅地方，雖然Lisa 都提咗喺美國嘅 context， 譬如話呢啲咁嘅小説啦，我諗喺香港我哋唔係太多人睇嘅，即係喺即係我自己亦都唔係好 aware 佢嘅咁廣泛嘅一個流傳啦。咁但係我哋有我哋自己嘅獨特版本嘅一啲關於新自由主義嘅一啲道德倫理嘅一啲討論啦，以至於各種新保守主義或者新道德主義同呢個新自由主義之間嘅聯合或者關聯。譬如最近我哋講嘅關於家庭價值嘅巡遊啦，裏邊係高舉嘅一啲關於家庭價值嘅一啲討論啦，一生一世啊、夫一妻啊等等呢啲討論啦。 咁同頭先 Lisa 提嘅美國嘅處境亦都有相近。咁但係咧，我哋冇咁清晰嘅一個 articulation， 譬如頭先喺嗰個電影裏邊咧，關於嗰個Ayn Rand 嗰個小説裏邊新自由主義嘅一啲精英咁樣咁清楚去 articulate 呢個新道德主義，將佢轉化成為佢支持嘅一種嘅一個價值觀或者一種意識形態嘅力量咧，就唔係咁明顯嘅喺香港裏邊。咁作為一個對比啦，咁Lisa 裏邊嘅論文裏提咗好多係關於新自由主義咧，其實唔係一個好完備嘅一個意識形態啦。價值觀之間係分散嘅，甚至頭先睇佢道德上邊咧，亦都係一個矛盾嘅互相。咁呢個咧其實我想稍微少少補充咧，呢一種嘅討論咧，其實都唔係完全好新嘅。所謂呢種新自由主義，第一佢又唔係自由嘅，即係所以我喺台灣裏邊亦都 present 過一個論文咧，就係用普通話講，所以我好恨喺呢度用翻廣東話即係討論呢個課題。咁講嘅時候咧，亦都有啲台下國內一啲朋友就問喂，你講咁多新自由主義，其實唔係好相關喎，同我哋國內嘅處境、大陸嘅處境，因為我哋自由主義都未經過，咁有咩新自由主義？冇自由主義點有？咁我其實好想同佢講，不過我哋冇時間討論啦，就係其實好多地方係冇自由主義，都有新自由主義嘅，包括我哋香港，睇下游靜都講咗。所以新自由主義第一咧就同自由主義無關，第二亦都唔新。所以個名其實好大問題嘅，我諗係非常大問題嘅，即係今日嘅討論。咁但係咧，好可能我哋仍然要用呢個名啦 frame 啦，呢個就即係拋翻個波俾游靜啦。點解佢仍然咁痴戀呢個新自由主義？呢個又唔新又唔自由主義？交翻俾主辦當局去講。但我想討論咧，就係因為我哋用咗呢個字咧，又用新又用自由主義，有好多 confusing 嘅討論。我反而咧想引入一個就係Int'l 嘅一個關於 populist 嘅 logic 去理解呢一個現象。其實我覺得係一個民粹操作嚟，民粹政治嚟。所謂新自由主義咧，其實即係呢個唔新又唔自由咧，其實係一個 empty signifier 咧，係幫助我哋處理各種矛盾嘅道德訴求，甚至我哋嘅驚恐、我哋嘅慾望。頭先即係另外一位 commentator 司令嘅一個，亦都可以反映到。所以咧，呢個討論裏邊咧，我唔詳細介紹嗰個喺另外一啲文章。呢個討論可能引申一個回應同埋兩個問題嘅，即係希望同Lisa再仔細討論。第一個回應咧就係，如果呢個係新自由主義係一個唔新又唔自由嘅一個 empty signifier，我哋用呢個詞去處理，甚至咧描述成佢有一啲力量去 incorporate 我哋各種即係現有嘅各種政治嘅social force 或者政治嘅力量，包括一啲社會運動。Lisa 嘅論文裏邊提，甚至一啲 queer movement 或者係feminist movement 裏邊咧，可能都會被吸納轉化成為新自由主義嘅一個 program 咧。呢一種嘅描述咧，其實可能我哋參照另一位文化研究學嘅 John Clark 係英國 OpenU 嘅，佢最近2007寫咗篇文啊，關於新自由主義。佢將新自由主義描述成為今日我哋已經講到係無處不在、無所不能嘅一種即係現象。嗱，咁呢種現象咧，即係我哋咁樣描述咧，我哋可能要問咧，第一個問題咧就係有冇 way out 呢個新自由主義？就係如果係咁 powerful 嘅咁 mighty 嘅一個現象，有冇 way out 可以去處理？而奇怪咧，就係我哋批評新自由主義嘅一個出發點咧，往往就係想批評呢個大齊主義嘅一個 there is no alternative 嘅一個討論。所以個描述如果係再重新引入翻呢個新自由主義嘅幽靈，而佢係有好大嘅吸納能力去處理各種社會運動，呢一種論述本身我哋應該可以點處理或者係點回應？呢個第一個問題。第二個同呢個有相關嘅咧，就係當Lisa 喺文裏邊最後引 Po-keung 提呢個呢個叫做佢叫做security state 呢個討論咧，其實係有少少想走出呢個新自由主義嘅幽靈，就係想進入一個可能已經轉化咗，已經唔再係合適嘅一個分析嘅一個框架咧，新自由主義。 咁如果呢個係啱嘅時候咧，我想問就係例如 John Clark 嗰啲討論都係，如果佢又唔新又唔自由，而係一個民粹操作，喺概念分析上未必有助於我哋處理，甚至可能會拉翻入去即係呢一種 almighty 嘅一個現象嘅時候咧，我哋需唔需要揾一啲新嘅 concept 去重新取代呢個？如果需要揾嘅時候，可以用啲乜嘢嘅 concept？會唔會又正嘅第二個 keyword 呢個 conference 裏邊嘅新道德主義係一個可能性？如果係嘅時候咧，可能往後嘅集中討論就 spell out 呢個新道德主義究竟嘅內涵係乜？佢同而家當下我哋嘅政治經濟狀況嗰個關聯係點？咁呢個係大概兩個問題，或者係一個 comment。
Thank you both commentators. Can I ask that we delay this session for 5 minutes at least? Right. So, Lisa, would you like to join us? I don't know. Right. Okay, I would. I would like to open up the floor for a couple of comments or questions before. All right, so the floor is open. 如果有問題，大家可以用任何嘅語言，包括呢3種語言以外嘅語言。其實呢3種語言對我嚟講都係 imperial languages. None of them are my mother tongue, so I chose the most imperial to use. Anyway, comments, questions from the floor?
Are you speaking in English? I can't hear you.
大聲，有冇咪㗎？Yeah, okay.
We can't hear you. She would like to answer. Oh, okay, yes, okay. To reply to the questions, really excellent questions. Really excellent provocations. I need your mic, okay. I said really excellent provocative questions. I have just had these few minutes to think about them. I think they require a more extensive thinking. I did want to say that the term neoliberalism, if you think of neoliberalism as a social movement, right, as a moment in time, as a historical social movement to reorganize capitalism in order to enhance the profit-making capacity, that's then taken up the various oligarchies and elites. It is incoherent, right? It has an ideology, but its actual practice is this sort of historical social movement of trying to gather elites to collaborate in this project, to collaborate with financialization in capitalism, to raise profit rates, right? But it's not in its practice. I tried to make that distinction, the practice and the ideology. In its practice, it really is these practices of oligarchs and elites to try to tinker with the institutions of the state and the economy to take money out of social welfare and put it in profit. So it's if you think of it as a social movement and not as the name of it's like free markets are neither free nor are they usually actual markets, but they do name a kind of ideological project, even though they're neither free nor really markets in the way that the marketeers promote it. So the same with neoliberalism. But what I think about the new languages and the Paul Mars work and so forth is that Paul, he's proposing a human security state as the new name, right? But he's also saying that just as the moment of neoliberalism carries within it the histories of imperialism, not just liberalism, but histories of empire. So the history and legacy of empire and capitalist empire shapes what neoliberalism is. It's racial politics, it's gender politics. So if we are in a post-neoliberal moment, and
and we have a new formation that we need to start thinking about. It, as you know, Amar is arguing that it carries within it also the history of colonialism, imperialism, and financialization, neoliberalism. So those histories are drawn in, even though the formation itself is no longer well described, perhaps by the term neoliberalism, is in certain parts of the world. It still bears the impact of neoliberalism as the kind of administrative arm of financialization, of global financialization, which Hong Kong is what, the third biggest financial center. So financialization, huge here, and administering financialization is sort of what neoliberalism is the administrative arm. So, so if we're in another moment and we need another vocabulary, which I think perhaps we do, it will carry the histories of empire, colonialism, and liberalism and neoliberalism with it, and the impact of those will still be present in the way that empire is very much present. Empire is present with us in this room. So, so that's the way I would say to think about it, rather than thinking of it as a kind of fixed formation that begins and ends, right? It's a kind of administrative strategies of upward redistribution.
Yeah, thank you, Lisa, for the rejoinder. Okay. Yes, Professor Ling.
Hi. It's easier for me to speak Mandarin, but I think because of the nature of the audience, just use English. I think neoliberalism's creed, even though maybe motivated by greed, I think as embody a moral vision as well. I think those who advocate neoliberalism or economic liberalism, such as Hayek, they had this ideal about or vision about human autonomy, respect for experience and tradition, rejection of a total rationalism, and so on. And actually, a lot of these are in common with political liberalism. So I think, to a certain extent, this economic policy or creed haven't become a moral creed, become hegemonic or universal values, only because people see these, the consequences of these are good and bad, not beneficial for everyone. And so I think people we can see them as just simply not, these policies not as moral creeds, but technology of governance or and things like methodology, treating local questions and so on. But in an interesting way, the creeds of political liberalism, constitutional democracy and personal freedom and so on, aren't seen this way. They are seen as moral creeds. They are seen as something definitely, despite of your social, economic condition, that should be achieved. And that's an interesting contrast because right now, those who advocate neoliberalism holding the same view. That is, doesn't matter what kind of developmental state you are, the liberalist goal is what you should strive for. So this is my comment.
Yeah. Thank you.
係，因為頭先咧有人抌咗個波俾我咧，咁我係咪都要接下做樣？我真係好希望大家咧係好好咁利用我哋呢個兩文三語嘅環境，我哋用咗非常之龐大嘅資源同埋時間係製造呢個環境嘅。我真的希望大家好好的利用這個兩文三語的環境，然後真的不要勉強講一個你不是最舒服的語言，這個是我們這個會用了非常龐大的心力去做的一件事情，我們好好利用好。我接一接頭先許寶強老師嗰個波。點解我哋今時今日仲要所謂迷戀、痴戀呢個新自由主義呢？當然唔係啦。咁就正如頭先我自己喺開場白裏邊我企圖解釋嘅呢，可能講得唔夠好，就係話 其實新自由主義嘅意識形態咧，係深深咁樣被陷入咗香港人嘅意識價值觀念裏邊。我哋由細到大都被教育話香港係一個全球最自由嘅經濟體系，20年啦嚇。我上堂嘅時候係不斷咁樣聽到我嘅學生同我講呢件嘢，即係基本上咧，每一次你講話香港而家咧有幾唔平等啦嚇，即係大家幾唔辛苦嘅時候，學生咧係會不斷咁同你講嚇，唔係喎，我哋香港好自由喎，我哋經濟自由喎，我哋法律好完善喎，咁呢啲等等嘅新自由主義意識形態咧，係一定要被重新審視。而且我哋需要重新審視佢同我哋今時今日嘅所謂道德民粹主義之間嘅關係，因為咧喺香港另外一個好大好大嘅問題，我頭先企圖講嘅就係話講新自由主義批評所謂地產霸權嘅係一啲人嚇，而且相當多嘅，而家係越嚟越多呢啲聲音去批判即係地產霸權。但係如果我哋只係批判地產霸權，作為一種政治經濟意識形態，甚至係一種結構，而永遠唔睇佢嘅即係價值觀啊，佢嘅深深影響我哋嘅感情啊、思想嘅呢個面向嘅話咧，其實我哋一方面睇唔到新自由主義最毒嘅地方，我哋亦都一方面睇唔到今時今日嘅道德民粹主義，究竟佢同我哋嘅政治經濟結構有乜嘢更加大嘅勾連？嗰種勾連咧，係令到道德民粹主義咧係有好大嘅動員力量，而嗰啲動員力量咧，甚至係佢哋呢啲所謂即係道德民粹主義嘅推動嘅旗手咧，佢哋自己都唔一定會好自覺咁樣知道嘅。咁而呢啲嘅自覺性咧，我覺得係我哋作為即係企圖去思考呢啲問題嘅人有責任去釐清嘅。呢個正正就係頭先回應我想許寶強講嘅啊！如果我哋仍然係用新自由主義呢啲咁嘅話語，其實係咪去 buy into 佢嘅霸權咧，令到佢更加 hegemonic、更加 totalizing？ 我覺得啱啱相反，就係我哋去釐清呢個關係咧，係令我哋對我嚟講係一個企圖去挑戰呢個霸權嘅其中一個方法。當然呢個唔係一個最後一個方法。多謝。
Thank you. We have to bring this to a closure. Short one?
Very short.
Yeah, okay. Because we can always continue the discussion in the other sessions, but we overran already. Yeah, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I want to ask Lisa, because you mentioned that queerness can work kind of for dominant formation of the state, but I wonder how, perhaps how to understand it in an East Asian context, because queer rights and of course some of the NGO works not really in a dominant culture, for example, like gay marriage is not legalized in East Asia. So I wonder when we talk about it in a kind of American context, I of course kind of agree with your point of view, sorry. But I wonder how could we actually think about it in relation in the East Asian context, and maybe have you give a thought about that? So just like.
Okay. Could I do this? Yes. Ceiling has a short response to the discussion, and then I think we'll PK and then I think we should the final couple of minutes.
Less than that.
Less than that. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Thank you. I agree with Xiaojing that neoliberalism is a term that we use as an instrument to untangle the multiple forms of ideological control. And so, for example, if you look at one side, like the law, we look at the law as a side of neoliberalization. Because on one hand, you have all these sexual freedom laws, even if you have gay marriage recognized, you still need to beware of that pernicious effect of the heteronormative family values that is being promoted. So I think we need to look at the multi-sides of neoliberalism. Because outside of the juridical power, following Michel Foucault, we are subjected to a whole range of disciplinary regimes, including the kind of populist moralism that Xiaojing has been referring to.
Thank you.
I would just say that I think we can continue this conversation for the rest of the conference. And what is your name?
Yeah.
Well, I think your question is really a question for the whole conference, to really think through where a kind of neoliberalism is operating in East Asia. And from what I know so far about what's going on with merit pro and anti-gay marriage in the Hong Kong context, I think that is at a moment where neoliberal assumptions are fueling both sides, right? And that they're actually collaborating in a kind of project of idealizing. But it has a very specific resonance here that's very different because of the way family politics resonates differently here. So it bears a structural similarity and a dynamic, but it's not the same. So actually working that out is what we can do here. So thank you very much for your questions and comments.
Okay, thank you. 15 seconds.
一句啫 ，OK， 完全同意啊，由正 Lisa 同埋思玲嘅觀點，完全同意晒。除咗一點就係用唔用新自由主義呢個 term， 其實我哋可以有第二啲 choice。OK， 唯一一個。
Okay, thank you for the presentation and the discussion of all you. I think we had a very productive session with issues that can be picked up in the subsequent rounds. Thank you. So the next session will be on.
Yes, right away.